Foundationless, I love it, it's great, but you do need to do a little bit of tweaking. One thing you can't do is tip the frames horizontal. You have to tip it end for end. That's one thing. People that are used to the Langstroth frames that have foundation, they come in there and it'll fall off. A foundationless frame, the biggest change you need to do is you cannot tip it this way. You cannot tip the frame that way. You have to go end for end, kind of like a top wire hive. Yes, it's not so bad if you wire it, but if once it's fully connected on all four sides, you can tip it almost any direction. It doesn't really matter. But as a rule, you always tip it end for end. Number two, if you go and put a honey super on, you want to make sure that you move at least one frame up to the top, because bees tend to make parallel comb. So just to put a whole honey super or a whole another box on top without having any frames in it, I found turns into a nightmare. They start drawing comb sideways. But it seems like if you move one up, or even better, checkerboard the top box, they do a great job. They will follow the previous combs. Number three, when you start off with the frames are mainly empty, you want to push it all to the center. Even if you've got a gap on the outside, you want to push the frames to the center. So as they fill them out and they start drawing them, they're drawing them straight. So then I separate them, spread them out to fit my box. Number four, if they start to draw a comb wrong, the most common thing they do is have two pieces of comb on either side, just slightly off. You really have to cut down the center and push them together, and then they will connect the comb again into one continuous comb. So that is a little bit of tweaking. Most times they draw it straight, but sometimes you have to help them along a little bit. I use a fillet knife. So what I do is I go in there through both, and then I go down and I cut both combs. So I grab this, take that, set that down, and I push. Sometimes you have to cut a little bit off here to make sure it's not too supported there. So what I do now is I push from both sides and put the comb together. And the bees will try to do the rest. So now the bees will reattach the comb as one piece. This one's not going as well, but so there we go. So now the bees will attach it as one piece. It will be one continuous comb. So now when we set that back, but that is pretty much it. It is a little bit more work, but it is a lot cheaper, and that's how I like to do things.